Sheppard High School in Edmonton. Good evening, friends. I'm Kevin Donnan, and I'm proud to bring you the call of Championship Saturday night right here from the palatial Thunderbird Gym, and I'm very pleased to be joined by an Edmonton basketball legend, Steve Sir, who's a Shep alumnus. You've played in 2 championship games in your career, 2 city championship games. You've won 1, you've lost 1. You've played at nearly every level of basketball throughout the world. This is an exciting night for these players.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this all week. We have the 2 best teams in the city clashing for the title here. You see their road to get here to the final, and clearly you can tell. Well, JP had a real tough, close one with Paul Kane, but we're going to see 2 of the best teams in the province playing tonight.
Preseason predictions all had both of these teams going in, certainly.
Right.
And when you look at their records, JP comes into this game with a 9-1 regular season record. Of course, that road to the finals. They defeated Archbishop Jordan. They had no trouble at all, 92-51, as you mentioned. Paul Kane, though, different story, 65-63. But with St. Albert, it appears, I mean, as you can see, I mean, it doesn't take a mathematician to figure out that St. Albert can not only score, they can play defense. What are we in store for tonight, Steve?
Well,
what does JP have to do? They're coming in as as obviously an underdog, but we have the Skyhawks coming in with a perfect 10-0. The Jasper Place Rebels coming in at 9-1, and here is that Jasper Place Rebels lineup. Julia Huang, grade 10. Alex Asuncion, out of grade 11, 5'5". Brianna Thera, number 4. Zerika Mensa, Jenna Rinsky, number 7. Larissa Stevenson, of grade 11. Forward, Jenna Karat, grade 10. 6'1" power forward. Danny Nadeau, grade 11. At least Tugud, number 12. Haley Fedek, she's a player to watch. Certainly, you mentioned in our pregame discussions. But Steve, tell us, what can we expect tonight?
I think you can expect to see some awfully good players doing just exactly that, playing really good basketball. I think for everybody who's tuning in, everybody who's here at the gym, you're going to see some girls that are potential national team players, that are definitely players that are going to play past high school and get on to a high level of collegiate. So
no shortage of talent on the floor.
No. So I think for everyone, the exciting thing becomes you're going to see some girls that for sure in a couple of years are going to be wearing some jerseys at the University of Alberta or maybe even some places out in other areas of the country.
Now looking at the St. Albert Skyhawks, they defeated Spruce Grove in the quarterfinal, 121-42. That's a dominant performance. Yeah. Then looking at Sal in the semifinal, 64-33. They finished the regular season with a perfect 10-0 record. To put it into perspective, their points for were 852. Their points against were 400. So they're doing a lot of damage on the floor, and they've got a dominant lineup, but anything can happen.
Well, I mean,
anything can happen in high school basketball, and here we are.
And that's why this is such an exciting venue, because we have the 2 best teams. I think JP had a real close one with Paul Kane, but I think this is the matchup at the beginning of the season that people thought we would see, and it's great that that's exactly how it's played out. And
we are underway. Taya DeMong, as you mentioned, national team player, provincial player, certainly a player that will wear a university uniform at some point, but there is a turnover, that first turnover, change of possession, as the Rebels will come back. It's number 6, Jenna Rinsky. She's on the near side here.
Jenna's a girl you're probably going to want to keep a bit of an eye on tonight. She's a provincial team player.
Loose ball last touched by number 5, Annecy Palmer.
We're going to say this a few times during the game. This is somebody you should probably keep an eye on. There's some very good players on both sides of the ball tonight for JP and for St. Albert. Lot of good players here tonight.
Shot clock at 14. No score early. Here we are early. Just these first 31 seconds here. City Championship game right here on ICU Video. So glad you're along with us. Kevin Donnan and Steve Sir, proud to bring you the action tonight. And of course, there's another change in possession. Loose ball, that's number 11. Mimi Segwe, the forward. 6 foot forward.
That's okay. One thing worth mentioning is we've talked a little bit in the beginning about how good the players are. It is really worth mentioning that these are two very well coached teams as well, with Lauren Green and John Diedrich as the head coaches and the assistants as well too. So these girls are a big beneficiary of playing for fantastic high school coaches.
Number 5, Annecy Palmer tries the finger roll, won't go. We still don't have a score. So, Steve, as we mentioned, you've played in 2 city championship games. Right now, the Butterflies are right there, and there's that pass broken up. Cameron DeClerc with a nice hustle play for the Skyhawks, and the Skyhawks known for that press defense and a lot of hustle.
I think both teams, there's no way they're not excited. But I'm sure there's some nerves and Butterflies too. It's going to be useful for all of them to have that ball go through the net a couple times so they can loosen up and just play.
And there's a good example right there. There's Kaylee Plouffe. She's a cousin of Michelle and Catherine Plouffe, both national and Olympic players. And that one, she just lost the handle, and that's nerves right there.
Absolutely.
That first touch. And there's a pass broken up. Rebels will run. Here we go. And the layup won't go. That's number 11, Danny Nadeau. Skyhawks now slow things down. That's number 9, Morgan Harris. Dishes off. The 3 won't go. It's Annecy Palmer, number 5, in a battle for the ball.
I think you could probably say there's been a lot of chalk those up to nerve plays so far.
Sure, absolutely.
A lot of fumbling the basketball and maybe taking an extra step or not quite having their feet underneath them. This is kind of what you would expect, though. There's a lot of people here. This is an exciting time, but they'll settle in. That's what good players do.
Near side now. Nice pass across the floor now. There's a 3-point attempt. Won't go. Good rebound by DeClerc. Far side. Annecy Palmer now. She'll try the baseline. Nice spin with the left hand. And we've got a bucket, Steve, with 7:48.
We said it. I said it a couple minutes ago. We're going to say this a few times about the players. Annecy Palmer is someone that you're going to want to watch.
For the basketball. Both teams laying it out, and the Skyhawks will maintain possession.
It'd be interesting to see now now that there's that initial basket, if everyone can just settle in and relax.
Absolutely. Here we go now. Rebels, of course. Jasper Place, one of those legendary Edmonton schools. When it comes to basketball, there's a great defensive play by Sigwe, number 11. Near side now, here's Annecy Palmer. She'll drive. And a nice defensive play by number 7, Larissa Stevenson, with the rejection. Here's the 3-pointer by Rinsky. And she hits from downtown, and Jasper Place has their first bucket and the lead, 3-2. Now you get the sense these teams have had a chance. You know, you get that the air is only in about a third of your lungs because you can't breathe. You're excited, you're nervous, but it's all about just getting that first touch on the basketball and going from there.
Without a doubt. And the thing you also have to remember too, this has been a busy week for them. This is their 3rd game in 5 days, or 6 days if I'm correct. So, you know, there's the initial nerves and there's probably a little bit of fatigue, but they're young and excited, so they'll be fine.
Great rebound by Danny Nadeau to box out. Now down low, into the low post, into the paint. Good hustle there by number 15, Kaylee Plouffe. But the ball goes off Sigwe, the Skyhawk defenders. So no shortage of hustle, as you mentioned. Both of these teams so well coached in our first time out, Stephen. You know what? We're so pleased and proud. Executive producer Rob Zitla sent us an email. Tonight's women's game is sponsored by the Jenkins family, Tim Hortons of St. Albert and Morinville. They will be bringing you tonight's game. Of course, they have 5 locations, one on Heber Road, 2 on St. Albert Road, 1 on Carnegie Drive, and 1 on 100th Street in Morinville. So we want to thank, the Jenkins family, Tim Hortons of St. Albert and Morinville, for joining us and being part of the ICU family. And we're tickled pink to have Tim Hortons and the Jenkins family as part of the ICU family. And what a great night. And I'll tell you, Steve, it's cold outside. It is paralyzingly cold outside. But the action, the basketball is going to be hot tonight because we've got we've got the women's final, of course, going on right now, and then we've got the nightcap with these Rebels again. Talk about a dominant high school. We got Jasper Place up against Harry Ainlay.
Yeah, you're going to see. Well, it's like, as we said at the beginning, you're going to see the best teams in our area playing, and I think for everyone, it's important to, if you're not tuning in online, that it's important to be down here and watch this, because this is good, solid, high-level basketball for the Edmonton and the provincial area. Because I mean, these are all girls that are going to play beyond high school, and yeah, this is going to be a fun night.
All four teams will, of course, have graduates moving on to some level of university ball, and violation there, so Skyhawks will now take over possession. Here's DeClerc, number 7. Battle for the ball, and if there's a turnover, there's the Rebels. There's the lay-in for Rinsky, won't go. Grabs her own rebound, and she will step back and reset with a fresh clock. Stevenson now, number 7. Dishes to Rinsky. She'll go to the top of the key, and a loose ball foul called on the Rebels, number 8, Jenna Karach. And there's the replays tonight, of course, also sponsored by the Jenkins family, Tim Hortons. So an exciting night here for ICU Video, and of course for Division I basketball in Edmonton. Ooh. Nice move by DeMong. And there's another foul away from the basketball, Steve. Is that part of the nerves as well?
I think so. I think you can tell right away that the girls are trying to do their best to make the perfect play. I think as the game goes, you're going to see them just try and get more the right place. You know, nothing's going to go perfect. So just if they're going to make a mistake, hopefully they just make it playing hard. But you see a couple quick tic-tac fouls because girls are just, I think, a little overly excited.
Great defense by Dakota Wedman, which started that whole series. But there's the foul, the drive by Rinsky, number 6. And she will go to the line. Foul on number 9, Morgan Harris. There is the Jenkins family replay, the Tim Hortons replay.
You're going to see through the night. You're going to see that through the night. She's tough. She's great at dictating the tempo. She is a super high-level competitor. Both of these teams have really tough point guards. Cameron DeClerc for St. Albert and Jenna Rinsky over on the JP side. They're a big part of what makes these teams go. So, again, we've said it 10 times already, but keep your eye on them. Rinsky,
the grade 11 guard. Dominant player for the Rebels. Big reason why JP is here tonight. And the travel called on number 13, Bella Kucic, as she's caught guilty with the extra steps in the inbound for the Rebels. So 5-2 JP here, 5:20 to go. Here on ICU Video's coverage of Division I basketball here tonight. As we mentioned, the basketball is red hot, devilishly cold outside, but what a great night for basketball here in Edmonton. Edmonton's own March Madness. There's the foul committed by number 3, Alex Asuncion. Morgan Harris trying the left-handed layup. 5:08 to go. Rebels up by 3, and Harris can't get her first to fall. And there's her second, and she makes 1 of 2. And the Skyhawks will check in with number 11, Mimi Sigwe, and Annecy Palmer. Annecy Palmer, the 5'10", grade 10 forward. There's that press here by the Skyhawks.
And I don't think a lot of the point of the press from St. Albert is to necessarily get steals. They just want to keep you up at the front of the court, take some time away, have you work a little bit harder to get a catch. That's some nice ball movement from the Rebels.
Very good ball movement. It just won't go. It's number 8, Jenna Karach. There's a nice play down low, and Sigwe converts down low in the paint. Now we have a tie ball game here. 4.5 to go, first quarter. And the layup won't go, and the foul. It's number 6, Rinsky again. Rinsky, one of those, as we mentioned, the Rebel offense is, I mean, it's going to run through Rinsky, but she, are you surprised that she's attacking the basket as much as she has already?
I think that's a big part of how JP wants to play. She's their point guard, and she dictates a lot of their tempo. And I think one of the things that Coach Lauren Green gives them freedom to create and play. So if she feels that she has some attacking lanes, then I think Coach Green has given her the freedom to say, hey, go at it then. She's grabbing a quick break because I've got to imagine they're going to need her down the stretch. And also, too, they want her keeping that fast pace of attacking the rim.
Skyhawks. Now there's the good defense and the steal by the Rebels, number 12. At least too good. Down the baseline.
Nice
There's
pass.
For 3, and it won't go. That's number 11, Danny Nadeau. Can't find the range from downtown. There's the 3-point by number 9, Morgan Harris. And she buries the 3. Skyhawks now up 8-7. Thanks to the 3-pointer from Harris, number 9.
Hennessy Palmer's got 2 good looks for the Skyhawks by pushing the ball and headmanning it to the open player. It's been a good look for the St. Albert girls of running hard and getting to spots where they're able to get a few open looks.
Travel called on the Rebels, so a change in possession, and Harris will bring the ball up the floor. In the corner for Harris.
Nice
She'll
pass.
dish down to Segway. And yes, beautiful pass, beautiful conversion by Segway in the paint. And the foul called. That is number 3, Alex Ascension, the grade 11 guard. Non-shooting, or is it a, nope, non-shooting foul. And number 4, Brianna Thera, will inbound for the Rebels. 18 on the shot clock. That's 11. Danny Nadeau with a nice little runner that won't go, won't fall. Great play to keep the play alive. The drive won't go, but hustle play by Kaylee Plouffe. Now the Skyhawks will run. Here's Harris, number 9. She'll dish back out to the top here to the baseline now in the paint. And the Skyhawks, 10 on the shot clock. That's number 5. Hennessy Palmer can't get the 3 to go. Rebound by Kaya Vandermeer. Out to Harris. Kicks it around to Kornak. Down low in the change of possession, and the foul committed by number 9, Morgan Harris. So maybe we can get a look. Yeah, we were, again, a foul away from the ball, change of possession. And it's number 15, Kaylee Plouffe.
Seen a few offensive fouls so far this early part of the game. It's an interesting gray area in basketball now because there's so much dribble handoff and pick and roll action that if players are a little bit over anxious, you're going to not be set, and people are going to try and use those sorts of things without having their screener planted. So that is going to be getting into the moving screen stuff.
Sure. Not keeping your feet set.
Yep, got to have it.
And the pass attempted, and Taya DeMong is a little bit, how should we say, she's a little shocked at that call. Number 11, Danny Nadeau, the grade 11 guard, will shoot 2 with 2:30 to go. Steve Sir. He's Steve, I'm Kevin. It's great to have you along with us. ICU Video Productions, bringing you tonight's championship doubleheader from the palatial T-Bird Gym at Ross Shepp. Division I basketball, Edmonton's March Madness, the city championship games, and we've got a great one here tonight. Skyhawks, and Tia DeMong drives and gets fouled in the process, and that's she earned that trip to the line.
Well, you can see on the replay here, there's a quick, and there's been a few instances of this with the players. They're quick to have the hands go for the ball. Instead of taking a player on with your chest, having them maybe try and shoot over high hands or finish over some reach, they're quick to grab at it. And, I mean, she's a smart player. She's going to probably know if someone's grabbing that it's her chance to go and get a foul.
And there's some great work by Sigwe. Won't go. Nice rebound by Plouffe. You'll see Plouffe and Sigwe battling throughout the evening. The low post players for the Skyhawks. There's an
very nice
open 3 for Rinsky that won't go. Skyhawks will rebound. That's number 7, DeClerc. Number 7 kicks it over to DeMong. She'll try from downtown and hits. And Taya DeMong, the Team Alberta player, Skyhawks will want her to get hot. Good battle here between Rinsky and DeMong, shaping up for the rest of this one. And it's Kaylee Plouffe with the answer back. Skyhawks with the 1-point lead, 1:25 to go. Here's DeMong. The spin and the drive won't go. Sigwe with the battle for the ball and the foul.
That's a good matchup to be watching is DeMong and Kaylee Plouffe, because they can both shoot. They're big. They're versatile. They can step away from the hoop with some size. That's going to be a fun one to watch. They're both provincial team teammates, so they know a little bit about each other too.
Great work by our ICU video production crew on the Jenkins family Tim Hortons replay. Number 12, Elise Toogood. Grade 10 forward. And there we go with Skyhawks will inbound. We have a tie game here, 13-13. Skyhawks, of course, finished a perfect 10-0. They'd like to complete the perfect season. But these Rebels, 9-1. And there's the shot that won't go. Rebound by Jenna Karaj. That's Brianna Thera. And there's the pass intercepted there by Palmer, number 5. She'll get the easy lay and it won't go. Great rebound by DeMong, and the foul called on number 8, Karaj. And, you know, talking about these two teams in the regular season, of course, the Rebels finished 9-1, the Skyhawks 10-0. The Rebels lost to St. Albert 83-75 just a few weeks back, on February 11th. So that was late in the regular season. So these two teams know each other very, very well.
For sure. I mean, and these are, again, like we've discussed before, these are girls that have played together in the summer. They've competed against each other in other seasons. So, I mean, I'm sure they've seen each other in tournaments as well. So there's probably not a whole heck of a lot of secrets. But
and there's a big 3. Kaylee Plouffe getting hot, number 15, as she hits from downtown.
Had a little smile after she hit that one, too. That's cool to see.
There's the runner and the great rebound and a big block at the other end by Plouffe, number 15. And the foul call by DeMong. And DeMong pleads her case.
She was right about that one. I think we might have had a little bit of a trip.
A little bit of a stumble here on the near side. DeMong and a bit of a chuckle about that one. But talk about Kaylee Plouffe, both ends of the floor. Hits the big 3, then comes back with the big block.
She's a good player, and like we said at the beginning, she comes from
a little bit of royalty.
Yeah, she comes
royalty.
from a good name. There's a few ladies with that last name that are doing some big things in the world of hoops. So she's definitely living up to that.
And the Plouffe family, of course, part of that Canadian Revolution, really, in terms of the basketball world.
Right at the forefront.
At every level, you bet. And there's the drive by number 23, Dakota Wedman.
I do think that
foul on Kaylee Plouffe there.
We're going to see some different things down the stretch of the game, because if the fouling pace continues, we're not going to have many girls left.
It could be, yeah, that is true. It could be all about the bench strength going the rest of the way.
Yeah.
The Rebels enjoy a 2-point lead here with 14 seconds to go, and Wedman grabs her own rebound, and ball was out of bounds. There's about a 13-second differential on the shot clock for the Rebels. So 11 seconds to go. Full clock, really. Here's Rinsky, and she is rejected by number 7, Cameron DeClerc, but the foul called. Let's take a look.
You can see on the
Jenkins
swing,
replay, yeah.
they're swinging down and they're hitting the body. And Jenna does a good job. She gets in there seeking out contact. You see that with high school players sometimes shying away from a hit, from some contact. Jenna does a good job. She seeks that out. She puts herself in a position where a ref has to make a choice. And, well, it worked. She's shooting 2 free throws.
She made both of those free throws here. 4 seconds to go in the opening quarter, and this one is living up to all of its billing in that one. A great quarter. Cameron DeClerc misses from long range. But, Steve, take us through this first quarter as we take a look at some of these, as we mentioned, the Jenkins family, Tim Hortons replays. But take us through this first quarter. Is living up to what, to the hype. Rebels lead 19-15. Are you surprised that the Rebels have a 4-point lead?
No, I think if St. Albert was up 4, you wouldn't be surprised, and JP's up 4, you're not surprised.
Sure.
They're both very good teams. I think everyone who's watching can tell there was some nerves at the beginning of it, and a little bit of sticky feet because they were more concerned about not screwing up as opposed to just playing. So so now that they've settled in a little bit, you're starting to see get a better idea of what the girls can do. You're seeing here on the replay with Tia hitting a shot, and then I'm sure they're going to come right back with Kaylee hitting a 3. There's some girls on the court right now that can shoot, they can make plays, and they got some compete to them. So I think for the rest of the way, that's what you can count on.
Now the Skyhawks early on opened with a press defense. Skyhawks known for their defense, or at least, I mean, if you take a look at, as we did early on, took a look at the road to the championship game. This Skyhawks team known for its defense. Do you see them going back to the press early in this second quarter, or do you see them just sort of continuing to do what they were doing late in that quarter?
You know, I think what happens with the fouls is going to dictate it a little bit. You don't want to be in a position where you're picking up cheap ones that far away from the basket. At the same time, though, that's something that's a staple of what they do.
Sure.
It is something that does cause some disruption for other teams where I'm having to work real hard to get a catch, then I have to work real hard to get it over half. Now we got to try and run a play. So that's a big part of what they do, and I got to imagine they're going to trust that in different spots.
And one thing about the Rebels in that first quarter, one thing that was very impressive, ball movement. In terms of, you know, when they had the half-court offense, one thing the Rebels did extremely well was move the ball around, and I would expect, you know, as we mentioned, Rinsky, you know, driving the lane, but at the same time they moved the ball around and got some open looks for Kaylee Plouffe.
Yeah, you gotta know that on good teams with good players, they're going to put their players in spots to be successful. So with a girl like Kaylee and her ability to shoot, they're going to try and find her. With a case like Annecy Palmer, they're going to give her some room to create and tell her to get to the basket.
Nice drive of the lane by Palmer to open the scoring here in the second quarter. Skyhawks cut the lead, and it is Palmer. Change of possession. There's number 13, Bella Kucic, and it is a travel on number 13 for the Skyhawks. And here are the Rebels. Assumption now. We'll bring it up the floor. We'll take a look. There's Plouffe, number 15. She did a couple of big threes in that first quarter. She'll dish down low. That's number 12 with the nice hands. That's Elise Toogood with the soft touch in the paint.
You're going to see more of that with St. Albert probably pressuring up on Kaylee Plouffe. The good thing with her is she's a very capable passer too.
13, Bella Kucic. She drives the baseline. Here is the Tim Hortons replay.
There's that swing down. I think it's harder for these players to shoot over extended hands. So I think if I know Coach Green and Coach Diedrich are probably going to share this with their players. Just have them make shots over tall hands.
Kaylee Plouffe's second personal foul. She will check out of the ball game. And 13, Kucic, she hits her first. Want to welcome our viewers here joining us through ICU video. The Division I City Championships here in Edmonton, and number 12, Kea Vandermeer, checking in for Kucic. We want to thank everyone joining us here tonight. Championship Saturday night here, ICU Video. Kevin Donnan along with Steve Sir. And we've got a great one here. The JP Rebels in black, Skyhawks in the, well, home whites. They are the 10-0. They are the, there's a wild layup by number 4 that wouldn't go, Brianna Thera. And the Skyhawks with the rebound and the change in possession. There's Palmer now looking. Kicking it back out now. There's a big 3 attempt. Number 7, Cameron DeClerc, the Team Alberta player, and she hits from downtown. And the Skyhawks have a 1-point lead. Pretty good concentration by DeClerc.
Well, that wasn't an easy shot. Like, it was a good look, but it was pretty far out there. So that's, Cameron can shoot it though. She's an awfully good shooter.
Battle for the basketball. We'll see where the foul called on number 23, Dakota Wedman. Non-shooting foul. Inbound here for the Rebels by number 7, Larissa Stevenson. And there's a nice look, but wouldn't go. That's too good, number 12. There's a nice, beautiful move there by number 7, Cameron DeClerc. But the Skyhawks can't convert on that possession. Here we go, the Rebels will run. Kicks it back out, a kick out 3 that won't go. And a big collision down low. Good battle for the basketball. That's Kornak, number 8 for the Skyhawks, and number 4, Brianna Thera. And you don't think these two teams want this?
This is the biggest game of their year. I mean,
you bet.
I remember what it felt like to play in the city title, and you felt like you were playing in the NBA championship. This is a big deal, and it's cool to see them laying it out there.
And there's a big 3 by number 7, Cameron DeClerc. So the Skyhawks now settling in a bit. They've got a 4-point lead. There's too good, number 12 can't get it to go off the glass. That's 7, Larissa Stevenson. Couldn't find anyone, so she had to do it on her own. And the travel called on number 11, Danny Nadeau. And no surprise that the Rebels check Jenerinsky back into the game as the Skyhawks have hit some big shots here, Steve. Timeout with 6:58 to go, and the Skyhawks call a timeout, and they have a 4-point lead, and they've, through the middle part of this second quarter, the Skyhawks seem to have settled down a bit.
Yeah, you're starting to see, I think, a little more of a reflection of what they do well. You're seeing Cameron DeClerc step up and hit some shots. She's a girl that JP is going to have to pay an awful close attention to down the stretch of the game. And you're seeing St. Albert start to do a little bit of things to get them open looks. As you see in the replay right here, they set a little pin down to get her to the corner after she hit that other one. She's hit 2 in a row now. I got to imagine that Coach Diedrich is going to try and look to keep that going. If you're JP, you're still okay, though. I mean, you're down 4. They just hit 2 big shots. It looked from a standpoint of, is JP going to start to assert themselves? They had a little 4-point lead. So if I'm both teams, I'm happy with how I'm playing. I tell them to probably make sure that, hey, let's move our feet on D. Let's make sure that we don't keep picking up fouls and putting people in bonus where they can just get free throws. Let's make them score over some tall hands.
Kaylee Plouffe has 2 fouls, so.
And they need her.
And she is going to stay on the bench here in the second quarter. She picked up the 2 early fouls, so there is obviously the Rebels have a little bit of a concern there.
Yeah, they need Kaylee to play. So, I mean, that's, I'm sure, going to be something that the coaches say with her before. And you saw one of the assistants demonstrating it, like, Kaylee, use your size, use your length. Make them score over you.
Cameron DeClerc with the big drive and the nice rebound by the Skyhawks. Here's DeClerc again. She'll drive. Nice baseline pass. Now, and a beautiful little 12-footer by Kylie Kornak. Number 8, the grade 12 guard.
Cameron's starting to assert herself here a little bit. She's involved in all the plays that are starting to stretch this lead out.
There we go with the runner that won't go. That's Rinsky, number 6. She's doing it all for the Rebels. Gets her own rebound, kicks it back out to Assumption at the top. Far side now, that's number 7, Stevenson. And the big steal by the Skyhawks, that's Annecy Palmer. She'll drive and won't go. Big rebound by Stevenson at the other end. Rebels down 6 and a near steal by the Skyhawks. And the foul called.
You see that little bit of a reach, just that little swag. Can't help myself. Yeah.
Got to get the shot away, and
oh, smart.
Very smart play by Elise Too Good, the grade 10 forward. And talk about the youth movement here, Steve. In this game tonight, there are only 3 grade 12s on either team. So this is really, and for the record, the JP Rebels do not have anyone in grade 12 in the lineup.
So isn't it going to be fun to see how these girls continue to develop?
Oh,
because they're at this point now, and there's still
scary
so much.
to think.
Yeah, there's still so much left for them to improve at and to accomplish, and they're already doing an awfully good job. So, yeah, I mean, girls basketball in Alberta is in an awfully good spot, and you can see a lot of the reasons for that in this game specifically.
3-point won't go. And looks like the blocking foul.
Yeah.
Well, actually, another call on the Rebels, so it was number 12, Too Good. The battle for the basketball here in this Division I championship game, the women's division, the St. Albert Skyhawks against the Jasper Place Rebels. Rebels with the steal. And the possession. Here's Assumption. She'll drive the lane, and she will pay the price. And the Skyhawks will rebound. Here's DeClerc. Over to Palmer. Here on this near side now. And there's the long-range 3 by DeClerc. Won't go. Rebound now. Here's Rinsky. The battle within the game. Rinsky against DeClerc right now. The big guns for both squads. So ball goes off the Rebel player. Checking in now for Jasper Place. Number 11, Danny Nadeau. Number 4, Brianna Thera will check out for the Rebs. And now Morgan Harris, who had a big first quarter. Bringing up the floor, there's Palmer for 3 and hits it. So the Skyhawks starting to get dangerous from beyond the arc, Steve.
You're gonna have to see the Rebels start to close that gap a little bit. They're giving Cameron, they're giving Annecy some room to shoot and some room to think about it too. So I think for the Rebels, they got to get up a little bit further, make the St. Albert girls put the ball on the deck and see if they can create to the rim.
Good hustle play by Morgan Harris. There's the 3-point attempt by Izzy Valerio. Good rebound by Sigway, number 11. Skyhawks will retain possession, and a big steal by Rinsky at the other end. Now she'll drive the lane in the paint. Won't go. Big block at the other end by Taya DeMond, who's got 2 fouls. Skyhawks showing off that defense with this now 7-point lead, and Sigway with the tough basket, the big work down in the paint, and the Skyhawks now with a 9-point lead, and St. Albert's starting to really exact their will, and number 11, Danny Nadeau can't answer back.
Very nice. That's an awfully good look.
Great move by DeMong, and the 3 won't fall for Palmer, and the foul called. Non-shooting foul, but the Skyhawks have really taken over here, Steve.
Well, I think if you've been watching the last few possessions, one of the reasons that it's getting harder and harder for the Rebels to find that effort defensively is you're seeing St. Albert really push the tempo. They're not letting the Rebels jog back, settle into something comfortable. They're head-manning the ball, and then St. Albert's looking to really attack and really put the pressure on them. So the Rebels are in a sprint. They're scrambling to find who they're guarding, and then they're having to get their wits about them and keep them in front. So if JP's going to to fight back into this before halftime, they're going to have to make sure that they start to look to dictate more of the tempo, because right now it's all St. Albert's tempo.
Steal by the Rebels now. Here's Nadeau, number 11. All the way across the floor to Rinsky. She'll drive the baseline and draw the foul on number 4, Izzy Valerio. Now, if you're the Rebels, when do you get Kaylee Plouffe back on the floor? Are you a little bit surprised we haven't seen her yet?
Maybe a little bit. I think maybe Coach Green is trying to get into halftime and make sure that Kaylee doesn't have 3. I think you'd be in a little bit of a pinch if she came back in and picked up that really crucial 3rd one. But at the same time, though, too, you don't want to head in down double digits in halftime. So I don't know. I think you probably have to come back with her, but Coach Green knows better than I.
Now, Lauren, what is Lauren Green telling her squad right now? They had an awful lot of success in the first quarter, but now you're down 9 with just over 3 minutes to go in the half. What's Lauren Green telling her squad?
I think it's girls, you got to get back quick and you got to find a check. It doesn't even necessarily have to be your player that you're guarding. You just got to match up, and then you got to come early with the help. You got to make sure that when someone's putting it on the deck, that we're sending someone quickly as opposed to meeting them at the rim. Help's got to come before they get to the paint. Help's got to come with hands high, so that if they are going to shoot, it's got to be over someone showing a big target. If they aren't going to shoot, then they got to make it difficult for them to pass out so they can either shoot or repenetrate. So if I'm JP, a lot of what I'm going to tell them is, hey, it's got to start with our defense, and then on the offensive end, we got to start hitting a few shots. We're getting to the rim. Some things are rimming out. We're rushing a little bit. Guys, or girls, just settle in. Shoot your shot.
Number 6, Jenna Rinsky will shoot her first of 2. ICU Video Productions live coverage of the 2019 Division I Women's Edmonton Metro Basketball City Championship game. The Jasper Place Rebels up against the St. Albert Skyhawks. It's number 9, Morgan Harris of the Skyhawks. Dishes it over to Kucic, number 13. Travel called on Mimi Segwe. And a change in possession, 2:55 to go. Skyhawks up by 7. And the St. Albert hinted at a little bit of a press there with Morgan Harris and then backed away. So Rebels now down by 7. Had a 4-point lead at the end of the first quarter. And the ball just goes off of Nadeau's foot out of bounds. So now St. Albert will take possession over. 2:40 to go. The Jenkins family, Tim Hortons of St. Albert and Morinville, bringing you this live coverage of the women's championship game, and the big drive, the big defense by the Rebels. Number 6, Jenna Rinsky, and Jenna Rinsky is, boy, she's fearless.
Yeah, she's tough. I mean, one of the things that I think you'll always see as the common with players that are a little bit shorter is they better be tough. And Jenna, she's a bull. She gets in there, she competes, she gets after it. She's a lot of fun to watch.
Big play by Rinsky, and the Skyhawks called the timeout here with a 7-point lead, 2.5 minutes to go. As we mentioned, Jenkins family, Tim Hortons of St. Albert and Morinville, bringing you tonight's action and our replays. Jenkins family, Tim Hortons have 5 locations, 4 in St. Albert, 1 in Morinville, 2 in St. Albert, right on St. Albert Road. So make sure you get out and visit the Jenkins family, Tim Hortons, and their 5 locations in the St. Albert area. And Steve, we've got an exciting night. Of course, we've got 2.5 minutes to go in the first half of this one. Then our nightcap, Championship Saturday night, right here on ICU Video. We have got the JP Rebels who've ho-hum, JP is battling it out,
yep,
for city titles in basketball, both women's and men's. And we've got JP against Terry Ainley. So 2 classic, it's a classic battle that is looking to live up to the hype, just like this one.
Absolutely. Good players, good coaches, programs that have been very strong in the past. So I think that's what everyone came to watch. Watch the best players play and the best teams play.
Heads up play by Taya DeMong to let that ball travel out. And Harris will inbound to DeClerc. So right now the Skyhawks with likely their most dominant lineup here. These are that
little pin down, that little base pin down they've been using.
There's a big three, and looks like it will be she will shoot one. That could be a 4-point play. The foul on Nadeau, but watch the concentration by Morgan Harris to stick with it. She knew Nadeau was coming. And what concentration by Harris to make that shot.
Well, I think for JP, like we talked, you're going to have to get to shooters quicker. But, I mean, to stand in there, hit your shot, and take the contact and make it a 4-point play.
4-point play. Beautiful play.
Big time.
By Morgan Harris. Big time play in a big time game. 2 minutes to go here in the opening half. Division I, Metro Edmonton High School women's basketball, and number 4, Brianna Thera loses the handle on the basketball. DeMong had a look on the baseline, didn't take it.
Good cut.
There's DeClerc, number 7, down to DeMong, who, as you mentioned, let's take a look at that Tim Hortons replay, and as you said, there's the cut by DeMong.
You know, when you watch
nice move.
She does things during the game that you look at and you go, okay, that's not going to show up in stats. That's not going to be highlight plays. But she's in the right spots. She makes her teammates better. And then she has plays like that where there's room to create. Her cuts are hard. Her cuts are to score. Her cuts are with hands up, ready to catch the ball. She's good. She's really good.
And she makes 1 of 2. And it's that work away from, without the basketball that can make all the difference. And DeMong hits 1 of 2. 12-point lead now for the Skyhawks. Minute and a half to go here at the Palatial Thunderbird Gym at Ross Sheppard High School. And there's the wild drive. DeMong with the rejection of Rinsky. 9.5 on the shot clock for the Rebels. And Rinsky will inbound.
Oh, boy.
Big pass out to Stevenson and broken up by DeClerc. Here's number 7. She'll go on the fast break and drive the lane. Won't go, and Stevenson with the foul. DeClerc will shoot 2.
You know, like how Cameron just made her mind up. Like, I'm going to put my shoulder into him. I'm going to go get some contact and earn me some free throws. She really gave them the spark to go on their run to heading into halftime. So, yeah, big effort from Cameron.
And both teams don't make it easy on you if you're going in the paint. No. Both of these teams will punish you. Both of these teams will make you earn every shot and every foul.
Absolutely. They're you can clearly tell they've been coached that once it gets closer and closer to the basket, it's going to get a little more physical.
And DeClerc makes her second. 12. Too good will inbound. And here's Skyhawks with that press that they really haven't shown a great deal of here in this first half. Just over a minute to go. Rinsky looking. She'll dish over to Stevenson. Stevenson sees an opening, tries to drive, and she'll get called on the travel and the extra steps.
You can see that one of the things that St. Albert's done a really good job of is they know that JP wants to penetrate and get to the rim. They've made it tough for them to shoot over with high hands, and they've closed off some of their penetration and kick options. So really nice effort from St. Albert on D as JP makes a really nice one themselves.
Big steal by Thera, number 4. Final 45 seconds here of the opening half. Rebels down by 13. They'd love to hit a big 3 or cut this lead going into this second half, considering how dominant they were. 2 on the shot clock and the near block. And the possession will go to the Skyhawks. So 30 seconds to go. About a 7-second differential here between the shot clock and the game clock. So the Rebels will have one more possession. Down low to DeMong, and great play, great pass. And the Skyhawks are up by 15. Here are the Rebels now. They'll be able to close it out with this possession. down 15. There's the kick out, and now the Skyhawks with a second left. DeClerc nearly gets one to go off the glass, and that is the end of the first half. The St. Albert Skyhawks up by 15, 40-25. And Steve, the Rebels came out early in that first quarter. Really had an outstanding first quarter, led by 4, but it was all Skyhawks in that second quarter. What has been the difference between, in that half? What was the difference between the two quarters?
Well, I'd say St. Albert started to establish their tempo. They wanted to play a little more speedy. They wanted to get the ball up the court quicker, and they did a great job of doing that. Annecy Palmer, Cameron DeClerc, they did a great job of head-manning the ball, finding teammates that were sprinting hard on the wings, sprinting hard to the basket, and that started to dictate their pace and dictate their tempo a little bit more. On the defensive side of it, St. Albert they seemed to settle in a little bit. They started to not reach as much. They started to have, if they're going to have players from JP shoot, it's going to be over extended hands as opposed to trying to grab at the ball. And I think for JP, not having Kaylee Plouffe in there really started to hurt them a little bit, having that other scoring option.
Certainly she did not see the floor the last 6 minutes, the last 6 minutes of that second quarter. And but we will definitely, unless she's injured, she will definitely be seen in the second half. And we will bring you second half action in about 8 minutes time. We want to thank you for joining us here. ICU Video's coverage of the Division I Metro Edmonton High School Basketball Women's Championship. Make sure you stay with us for second half action coming up in just a few moments time. Welcome back to ICU Video's Procast coverage of the 2019 Metro Edmonton High School Basketball City Championship game from Ross Sheppard High School in Edmonton. The palatial T-Bird Gym, the St. Albert Skyhawks in white, the Jasper Place Rebels, who are waiting to come out on the floor, are in their visiting black colors. Skyhawks lead by 15. 40-25 as we enter this second half. And let's take a look, Steve Sir, at the Jenkins family, Tim Hortons replays, and take us through that first half, Steve. A bit of a tale of two quarters. The Rebels came out, very strong in the first, but it was all Skyhawks in the second.
Well, I think you're going to start with the right clip to see why St. Albert started to impose their will a little bit more. Cameron DeClerc was a big part of that, hit 2 big threes. JP started to lose a little bit when Kaylee Plouffe went to the bench. They didn't have that outside touch that was working for them, but you still see Jenerinsky. One of the reasons that I think JP has still got a fighting chance at this. But there's that little pin down that St. Albert was running to get that corner 3 that Cameron was nailing. So, I think for JP to get back in this game, they have to have a little bit more of their tempo. And that's going to be attacking the rim and getting the ball into the low post. From there, I'm going to guess that you're going to see a lot of the same from St. Albert. They're going to try and push the ball, find their shooters, and then have their playmakers take over with Cameron DeClerc and Tia DeMong.
And if you're John Diedrich, the head coach of the St. Albert Skyhawks, what are you telling your team right now? You're up by 15. What's the formula for success? And how do you close this out in this second half?
I think you got to keep asking for more of the same. When you're getting someone on a little bit of a hot streak, keep going to them. I think your playmakers have to be the ones that dictate your tempo and pace, like with Cameron DeClerc and Annecy Palmer and Tia DeMong. They're the ones that seem to set the pace for the other players, and the other players did a great job of following along with that. I think avoiding foul trouble was helpful for St. Albert in that second quarter. They were starting to play a little bit more with their feet and less with their hands. JP, if they're going to fight to get back in this, I think they have to use their transition opportunities a little more aggressively, and then when they get to the rim, they got to capitalize. There were a few shots that they left on the rim and bounced in and out that if they probably would have converted, I bet we'd be under a 10-point game right now.
And one thing that we saw from the Skyhawks in that first half was, a bit of a balance. They can, they were 10-0 in the regular season for a reason. Yeah. But the balance in terms of outside shooting and then working the ball down low to DeMong and Sigwe in the low post, that was really effective. So when you've got a team that can change things up, they can go to half court, they can run the floor, and they can shoot. That's a lot for the Rebels to contend with. To contend with if they're going to get back in this one.
Well, that's usually what a 10-0 team sounds like.
That's right. Yeah, good at all facets. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think JP's young, but this is one of those great experiences in games where they can see a lot of growth and they can see a lot of improvement, and they're good enough players that they can start to make some of those improvements and adjustments on the fly. If you're St. Albert, you got to keep your tempo. You got to keep your pace. If you let JP start to sneak back in this, they're a good enough group that they can make this scary.
And we are back live. So glad you're with us. ICU Video. Division I Women's Championship game. Metro Edmonton High School Basketball. The St. Albert Skyhawks in white. Jasper Place Rebels in black. There's the 3 by DeMong, and you mentioned that she can play down low in the low post and she can hit from the outside. And there's a big battle for the ball and a change in possession by the Skyhawks. So DeMong has come out with that first possession for St. Albert, and she has really made a statement.
Yeah, she's awfully good, and she's not just someone that can play to the rim. She's got a good shooting stroke too. So you're gonna have to play close and then be ready to move your feet when she puts it down.
Sigwe with the Jenerinsky with her second personal on Sigwe, non-shooting foul. Opening minute here of the second half. Kevin Donnan with Steve Sir for ICU Video. So glad you're along with us. here on Championship Saturday night, and Sigway can't get that 15-footer down the baseline to go. And the Rebels, number 11, Nadeau, will dish it off to Stevenson at the top. Here's too good, number 12. Feeds it down low to Plouffe, and the little reverse won't go. Sigway with the rebound. And the Skyhawks will return now. 18-point lead. DeMong now into the corner. Annecy Palmer in the three. Won't go. Rebound. Rinsky. She loses the handle, and DeMong will take the left-handed lay-in for a 20-point lead. And this is the type of thing that the Skyhawks have done all season, Steve.
Yeah, and this was quick, too, because it was a 4-point JP lead, and it didn't feel like it was that long ago. But this is why they're 10-0. They put a lot of pressure on the opposing team to guard them and then to have to make tough shots.
Rinsky can't make the runner. Here's Morgan Harris, number 9. Kicks it over to DeMong. DeMong thought about the three, didn't take it. There's the shot, and there's Annecy Palmer, number 5, from downtown. Timeout called by the Rebels, and a smart timeout, by the head coach, Lauren Green. She had to call the timeout at that moment.
Well, you're talking about this starting to really get away from them too. I think being down 23, it's probably not the start that they wanted for them right out of the gate. But this has to be something where they get back in and say, guys, take a deep breath. Let's get a couple good possessions. Let's just start with that. We won't get a 23-point shot anytime soon. You're going to see right here.
Nice work by DeMong down low.
And these are the things that St. Albert does well. You see a nice little screen-the-screener action to free up DeMong. And, if you're JP, you got to close out the shooters a little bit quicker. I mean, Annecy Palmer's hit one. We're going to see it right now, and Tia DeMong's hit one. So you're going to have to make sure you get there and make them put the ball down. Then that's what we talked about in the first half. Help has to come quick.
8:12 to go here in the third quarter. Rebels called the timeout. JP down by 23. St. Albert Skyhawks looking to complete an 11-0 season with a Division I city championship here. The Rebels, of course, their only loss was at the hands of the Skyhawks. But this Skyhawks team so dominant in the 2018-19 season. And Rinsky can't get the three to go. She knows how important that shot was. There's DeMong on the bounce pass, broken up by Rinsky. That intended for Morgan Harris. So Skyhawks now with the 23-point lead, and they're going to be content now to settle things down and play a little bit of half-court basketball.
Yeah.
And the travel called on to Clark, and head coach John Diedrich, he's, even though he's got a 23-point lead, he's still calling on his team to stay focused and maintain that concentration. And there's a big collision and the offensive foul.
This will be something interesting to keep an eye on, because if Tia DeMong...
Oh, no, it's not. It wasn't a charge. It was Kaylee Plouffe will shoot 15 and will shoot 2. Kaylee Plouffe, number 15, will shoot 2. I was so discombobulated by that one that I thought for sure that it was an offensive foul. But
I think for Kaylee, in order to get her feel back, this would be good to get one of these to drop. She sat for a pretty good stretch in that first half, and I think needs to just see something go right for her so that she can settle back into to helping out the Rebels.
And Lauren Green, head coach of the Rebels, obviously wants to get Plouffe some open looks. She showed in the first half she can be lethal from beyond the arc. There's the lay-in, great rebound, big block down low by Plouffe. So that battle between Sigway and Plouffe, and the little George Gervin finger roll by Palmer won't go, but still some great battles down in the paint, Steve.
Yeah, you're seeing when that shot goes up, they're fighting for it. And, I mean, that's what you want to see in younger players. You want to see them understand the importance of pursuing the basketball. Oftentimes you'll watch, and when the ball goes up, you make your mind up like, maybe I could have got it, maybe I couldn't have, but I'll just start running back on defense. The great thing about both of these teams is when the ball's up on the rim, they're going to go and scrap for it until they get it.
Here's Rinsky, number 6 for the Rebels. Down by 23. If Jasper Place is going to do it, they've got to start
Very
now.
nice.
There's Plouffe with an open look and just can't get it to go. No ball luck for Kaylee Plouffe, who got into with 2 fouls, was kept out of that. And there's a nice little left-handed runner by DeClercq. And the lead is now 25 for the Skyhawks. Here's Plouffe, number 15. She'll fire up the 3, and it won't go. And it'll be the change in possession. So Skyhawks with the 25-point lead, 6:45 to go.
You're seeing the Rebels start to press a little bit now. They want to fight back in this, so they're trying to get something early, trying to get something quick. And this is what's tough when you get down like this. It's awfully discouraging.
And that's a nice play by number 23, Dakota Wedman. Drove the paint, stopped, popped, and hit a 5-footer right in the paint. There's from the corner. That's number 4. Beautiful touch by Brianna Thera, the grade 11 guard for the Rebels. And a big 3 for Jasper Place.
St. Albert hasn't made a lot of those mistakes where they've maybe overhelped a little bit and left the shooter with that amount of time to shoot it. But JP's going to need more of that. They're going to need more of that where they get in there and create for some other people. And then, like everything, when it boils all the way with basketball, you got to start making shots. So they got some time to do it. They're just going to have to start doing it now.
Kea Vandermeer, number 12, checks in for the Skyhawks. Taya DeMong also taking a breather for St. Albert, and why not?
Oh,
and the foul called. Number 12, that's at least too good. She draws the foul on number 12, Kea Vandermeer. And at least too good will shoot 2, 5:43 to go in this third quarter. A clash between the top 2 teams in Division I. Rebels finished in second with a 9-1 record. St. Albert 10-0. Skyhawks looking to complete the perfect season, and the Rebels are looking to gain any little bit of momentum they can. It's number 8, Jenna Karach, who's been quiet in this second half. She saw a lot of minutes in the first half, and now you're seeing Coach Diedrich of the Skyhawks use his bench a little bit. Harris back in, number 9 for St. Albert.
Oh boy.
There's the errant pass. The battle for the basketball won by number 4, Brianna Thera, and she draws the foul, the push. The push on St. Albert. So there's Assumption, number 3. Going to look. She'll drive the lane with the left-hander, won't go. And good solid rebound by Vandermeer, number 12. And now to an open Dakota Wedman. Fourth personal foul. So we've got a couple of Rebels in foul trouble. 5:18 to go here in the third quarter. 24-point lead for St. Albert Catholic High School, the Skyhawks. St. Albert Skyhawks here.
See how St. Albert's really doing a nice job of making it so tough on JP to find a good look.
There's the drive by Rinsky that won't go, but she draws the foul. She'll shoot 2. Number 6 for JP, who's battled all night. The engine of the JP attack is really through Jenna Rinsky.
But she really had, I mean, JP's working so hard to try and find shots right now, and that's really a testament to St. Albert's defense. They're not giving them easy, get to the bucket and shoot a good look. They're pushing them away from the hoop on their penetrations. They're bumping them and having to take contested shots and make tough passes. So for JP, it's been hard to get into any kind of rhythm because St. Albert's tempo is really taking that away from them.
Rinsky makes her two, near steal by Rinsky. And the three-point attempt by Taya DeMong won't fall. 4:47 to go. And John Diedrich is wondering about that shot with a full clock and a full possession. So Diedrich concerned, making sure that the Skyhawks use the clock the right way. Here's the pass down low and the foul on DeMong. And that's number 8, Jenna Karach. She will draw the foul and shoot 2. That's Taya DeMong's 4, so, you know, Diedrich has got to be concerned about that, and as is DeMong. So DeMong will not see the floor in this for the remainder of this third quarter. That's that's a pretty good guess, I would say, or a fairly reasonable prediction.
It's a safe bet. Yeah, it's a safe bet.
There's Karach now, number 8. For the Rebels, won't go. And the Skyhawks, St. Albert, will run. Nice dish by DeClerc down low. That's number 10, Maddie Drafts. Grade 10 guard seeing some action. As she makes her first bucket of the evening. Rinsky now dishes off to Asuncion. Can't look, she's gonna try and drive, but great defense by number 7, Cameron DeClerc. Team Alberta guard. Now near side here, Wedman. She'll try and drive the lane, does. Kicks it out baseline, here's Clark now. She'll try and drive with the left hand, won't go. Tough rebound by the Skyhawks, Sigway misses. And now the Rebels will run. As Rinsky, number 6, will try and drive baseline. She tries to dish, and the Rebels will maintain possession with 14 seconds to go on the shot clock. And the Rebels will get some fresh legs out on the floor, including number 15, Kaylee Plouffe. And right now, the time is now for Kaylee Plouffe and the Rebels with, you know, a 23-point lead and 3:38 to go in this in this quarter.
You got to make your push. I mean, if you have any shot to get anything done in this game, you got to finish the quarter awfully strong.
Big block and a big. Well, the foul called on number 13, Bella Kutzitz.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
That was whole lot of something.
From this side of the gym, it did look like it was the block, but number 11, Danny Nadeau, will shoot 3 as it was or she'll shoot 2. Check that. That is her second. That is 2, and here is the third attempt. And she's good on 1 of those 3 attempts. 22-point lead for the St. Albert Skyhawks. DeClerc now, near side. Tries to go across the floor. Big steal by Stevenson. Rinsky now with the battle for the ball, and she will get possession over number 23, Dakota Wedman. Right at midcourt here at the Palatial T-Bird Gym. Kevin Donnan and Steve Sir with you here on ICU Video. Our championship Saturday night, the Metro Edmonton High School Athletic Association Division I Basketball Championships. St. Albert and JP here in the women's final with just under 3 minutes to go, and the big drive by the Rebels. Kaylee Plouffe won't go. Too strong. And there's Palmer, number 5. Shot is short, and big collision, number 7. Larissa Stevenson makes contact with Palmer, going across right at the foul line, and it's a non-shooting foul. And Palmer will inbound right in front of the Skyhawk bench. As we mentioned, glad you're along with us. Division I.
Cut.
Strong move by Palmer, and the battle down low. Plouffe and Sigway. Sigway working to get position there. And the Skyhawks will inbound, but that's part of the battle that you see down in the paint, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, for both sides, they've been physical underneath, and you know, it's been the hard part though, because there's been a little bit of foul trouble for Kaylee Plouffe. There's been foul trouble for Tia DeMong, and I don't think the refs have been wrong on most of those calls. You can tell it's coming from a place of, hey, I want to play hard and make the right play. But in that sort of case, getting your hand caught under there, that's an easy one.
What a great play by Rinsky, and the Rebels can't convert, and the quick foul there by number 11, Danny Nadeau. Nadeau reaches in. It is the Skyhawks are in the bonus with the 22-point lead, and it is the grade 10 guard. That's number 10, Maddie Dreffs, who will shoot 2 for the Skyhawks, she makes 1 of 2. Lead now 23 for St. Albert. Rebels have a mountain to climb here to get back into this thing.
Yeah, they gotta make a big push, and they gotta start doing it now.
And the air ball by the Rebels, number 5, Zerica Mensah, seeing her first action on the floor. The grade 11 guard for Jasper Place. And here's Cameron DeClerc. She's hit some big shots tonight, some big threes.
There's that corner.
And some tough threes, right? There's the step back, won't go too strong. There's Sigway now, and with the tough work down low. And the foul right there.
She's been tough on the glass tonight. She really gets in there and goes after the basketball. She doesn't expect it to come to her. She pursues it.
Kaylee Plouffe, that is her 4th personal foul, so she is most definitely now. But I mean, if you're Lauren Green, the head coach of the Rebels, you had to get Kaylee Plouffe out on the floor.
Yeah.
And you had to get her competing. So especially when you were, you had the lead in the first quarter, you were down, it's a double-digit lead in going into the half. You had to get your best player out on the floor.
Yeah.
Or one of your best players.
You got to shoot your bullets. You can't leave this game saying, I didn't get my whole holster out. And I mean, it's tough. You can wait and play it safe, and then you can throw her back in and you're down 28. So you got to play it.
What a great hustle play by Brianna Thera there of the Jasper Place Rebels. And there's the charge called on DeClerc. Number 6, Jenna Rinsky drawing the charge. DeClerc was looking for number 23, Dakota Wedman, but DeClerc called on the charge.
That's about the first, not mistake, but tough spot that we've seen Cameron in tonight. She's played a pretty strong floor game tonight, where just about everything she's done has led to something positive.
There's Rinsky kicking it out. I thought she had the lay-in for sure.
Yeah.
Great fake there by the Rebels, number 5, Zerica Mensah. And she's making the most of her minutes as she will shoot 2. Foul called on Sige, number 11. That's her 3rd personal. 1:19 to go. And Mensah makes both of her shots. 20-point lead now for the Skyhawks. There's the 3 that won't go. And the big hustle rebound there by number 9, Morgan Harris. There's the finger roll, and it will go. Annecy Palmer with the nice lay-in.
St. Albert's been pretty timely. When JP looks like they may have something to start building on, they get a tough bucket or they get a tough stop. Oh, boy.
Every time the Rebels have tried to seize any kind of momentum, the Skyhawks have been there, and there's a tough foul going right to the basket. Here is the Jenkins family Tim Hortons replay. And that's, I'll tell you,
that's an easy one.
You want to know why both of these teams are in the city championship game? It is because of plays like that. Talk about two teams who are laying it all out on the line tonight. Harris' first shot won't go. 22-point lead here for the St. Albert Skyhawks here at the Edmonton's birthplace of basketball, the Thunderbird Gym here at Ross Shepp. There's Morgan Harris wide open for the three, won't go. And the ball travels out of bounds. 36 seconds to go here in this third quarter. Championship Saturday night here on ICU Video. So glad you're along with us. And our basketball coverage, of course, earlier in the basketball season, we brought you the Totem Hoop Classic right here from the palatial T-Bird Gym. And there's the big block by the Skyhawks, number 12, Kaya Vandermeer, and the lay-in won't go. Skyhawks now. Full possession now. The steal by the Rebels, and the Rebels have 5 seconds to go. There's the going to drive the baseline, and it won't go. And that will bring the third quarter to an end with the St. Albert Skyhawks with a comfortable 59-37 lead over the Jasper Place Rebels. And if you are John Diedrich, you've really got to be happy with the, I mean, not necessarily the, you know, a chronological half, but the half of basketball they've played in the second and third quarter has almost been flawless, Steve.
Yeah, if you're talking to the girls, you're probably going to insist on a couple detailed things so that they stay accountable. But I can't imagine you're going to suggest anything all that new, because for St. Albert, they've been pushing the tempo, and it's a tempo that suits them winning the game. You know, I think for JP, they've had to work so hard to find good shots, and that's a credit to St. Albert's defense, how they've made it a game that I think JP is not entirely comfortable playing. And yeah, I think if you're JP, you want to try and finish on a positive note. 22 points to fight back from is a pretty steep hill to climb in 10 minutes, but you never know. You come out, you hit a couple shots, all of a sudden you get fired up. You never know what can happen.
You draw some fouls. You just never know. You get a possession to go your way. I mean, anything can truly happen. However, this St. Albert team has used even not only through the playoffs. I mean, we looked at the road to the championship earlier tonight, and this St. Albert team, you got to think that as strong as they are defensively, Coach Diedrich is going to be able to close this thing out, you know, quite nicely. But at the same time, we've seen this Rebels team, they continue to kind of scratch and claw to try and find, you know, some shred of momentum. But as you mentioned, the Skyhawks just keep answering it back. So right now it's do or die time for the Rebels. Mm-hmm. And on the floor, number 2, Olivia. Oh boy, am I in trouble. That's not Olivia Huang, that's Julia Huang. Olivia is her older sister, so I'm going to be in trouble with her dad. I have the opportunity to work with Olivia and Julia's dad, and boy, am I going to be in trouble.
Good.
So we do have I know I'm in deep trouble, but here we have an injury down on the floor. That is number 4, Brianna Thera. And she went down. We're going to take a look here at the Jenkins family Tim Hortons replay. It was, like we said, it has been a real battle all night in the paint between these two clubs, and that's head coach Lauren Green and the athletic staff for the Rebels.
You know,
taking a look here.
This is something that high school coaches will rarely get the credit they deserve for. But they're right in there when these sorts of things happen. When players get hurt, they're dealing with it. They're comforting the players. They usually know the best way to remedy it, and they have the support of the athletic therapist staff. But these are things that I think high school coaches rarely ever get the credit they deserve. Is their teachers, they know these kids, and the second that the competition aspect stops and the well-being of their players are what's at hand. It's so cool to see them rush in there and be a source of comfort for their players.
Nice hand for Brianna Thera, and yeah, we thought maybe it was just a bump, but it looks like
she got popped pretty good.
I was going to say, looks like she's got a little bit of a nosebleed there, and like we say, you know, they're you know what, no one faint of heart has ever driven the lane, and on a basketball floor, and you know, you have to be fearless down there, and certainly Brianna was, and she's going to be taken straight into the room, so we hope she's okay. Well, obviously the Rebels going to take every precaution, and we certainly hope that Brianna Thera is okay. She certainly has been a force in this game for the Rebels. She's she's been matched up. She's had some tough assignments defensively. She's made some big shots. So, like I say, we hope that she can make it back out here before the end of this game. This Division I Metro Edmonton High School Athletic Association women's title game here in Division I. St. Albert Skyhawks up against the JP Rebels. And our nightcap tonight, the nightcap of the doubleheader, will be the JP Rebels against the Harry Ainley Titans. And these are really, you know, we were all celebrating. You were celebrating. Rob Zitlaw was celebrating. I was celebrating because all of the preseason predictions came true. They talked about JP and St. Albert being, 1-2 down at towards the end of the season. We're here tonight, and of course, on the men's side with the Titans taking on the Rebels, there's typically, we kind of thought that the Thunderbirds would be in the equation. They had that upset loss against Skona. Skona pulled off, a bit of a miracle, and it was a disappointing finish for the Thunderbirds this season. But really, the Rebels and the Titans, who else would you rather have in that nightcap tonight?
Well, they're the two best teams, and I think when we get into that game later tonight, their road to get here will be reflective of that. We didn't get a team that just caught a hot streak at the right moment, but I think we're going to see the two best teams, just like we're seeing here, the two best teams in the Edmonton City area playing for the city championship. And that's exactly what you want. I think the cool part about March is there's always going to be some unexpected stuff. There's always going to be some surprises, but at the end of the day, the cream does rise. So
that's true.
We're going to see the best teams on display tonight.
Got a bit of a delay here as the, not sure what we were waiting for. I know that Brianna Thera, this was part of the, looks like some of the sort of the game crew here is grabbing a towel. I think
we got blood on the floor.
I think we got a little bit of blood on the floor from the injury to Thera. So I think they're going to try and deal with that. Player safety, of course, being paramount, and of course we talked about these two teams, the Rebels with a 9-1 record. Skyhawks looking to complete that 11-0 perfect season. And so here we have the referees doing a little bit of cleanup there after the injury. So
jack of all trades.
There we go. Like you say, coaches, referees when it comes to, boy, we're even bringing out the mops too, but nope, they called the mop team away. The towel did it, and now we're back to action here at the Thunderbird Gym. ICU video. The Division I women's title game, the Basketball City Championship here at the palatial T-Bird Gym. The nicest gymnasium in the city. There's a nice little backdoor cut, the turnaround, and the little 8-footer by Kaylee Plouffe, and she hits. Don't tell Kaylee Plouffe that she's down by 20. She's going to keep battling no matter what.
And that's the attitude that JP has to have. You can't play to the score right now, because if you do that, you're going to be pressing, you're going to be worrying. Like, they just have to focus on a possession at a time.
Cameron DeClerc can't hit the three. Rebels rebound. There's Julia Huang. Nice pass down low to Kaylee Plouffe. She stops, turns around again, won't go. Nice rebound, kicks it back out to Plouffe, and she hits from 5 feet. And there's that momentum we talked about. Rebels cut the lead to 18 now. Skyhawks content to work the clock. Here's Annecy Palmer with the finger roll, won't go. Big rebound by Nadeau, number 11. The Rebels will run.
Ooh. And
number 8, Jenna Karach, cannot convert on the fast break. Skyhawks now. Here's DeClerc going to run the lane. Kicks it back out to Wedman. Now over to Palmer. Won't go for the 3, and the rebound for the Rebels. Rebels down 18. Nadeau with the stutter step.
Oh boy.
Looking for Julia Huang here in the corner on the near side, and out of the reach of the grade 10 guard. Julia Huang, number 2, is Morgan Harris now. Going to bring the ball up the floor for the Skyhawks. 8 minutes to go. Sige battling hard in the paint, looked for the foul, didn't get it. Skyhawks will maintain possession with a 22-second clock. Crowd starting. We've had a great crowd for this one. We expect a good crowd for tonight's nightcap of Championship Saturday night. And there's Morgan Harris with the tough left-handed lay-in in traffic. And the Skyhawks lead is back to 20. There's Asuncion over to Huang. Huang down low to Plouffe. Over to Plouffe now, won't go. And DeClerc now with the rebound. Skyhawks will run. And the pass intended for Sige goes off the leg of the Rebels. And the Skyhawks will maintain possession with 16 seconds on the shot clock. Morgan Harris, number 9, directing traffic for St. Albert. She'll drive instead, tries the runner, won't go. Sige with the good rebound, and will kick it back out with the fresh clock for the Skyhawks. Annecy Palmer has trouble handling it, but she'll kick it out to DeClerc. Back over to the corner, Palmer, and the 3 won't go. There's Morgan Harris kicking it back out, and what a sequence here by the Skyhawks, and the icing on the cake. Number 10, Maddie Drefts from downtown. So the Skyhawks with pretty amazing sequence there on offense, Steve.
And I think that's a really good example of just why St. Albert's in the position that they are right now. If there's a shot that's going up, they're going after the ball. If there's an opportunity to attack, they're attacking. So it's not a discredit to JP, but St. Albert they're making those extra plays that really add up to why they're up 23 points.
There's Rinsky now. Top of the key, looked pass for Plouffe, and the shot won't go. It's number 5, Zerika Mensah.
Nice pass.
Great pass down low to Sige. She's done a lot of great work tonight down low in the low post.
Yeah, she's gotten to really good spots. And
there's the lay-in that just won't go for Rinsky.
She's been all over the glass, and you know what? I think she's done a great job playing off of DeClerc. Cameron's done an awesome job of finding her in the right spots where she can be effective. And but you got to give her credit. She has gotten on the glass and fought like crazy to go after that ball.
St. Albert Skyhawks with a 25-point lead. Their vets, a couple of vets check in. Taya DeMong with 4 fouls. She checks in. But the Skyhawks comfortably in control, 25. And the travel called, the extra steps taken by the Rebels. And the Skyhawks up by 25. 6 minutes to go here in the Division I title game. The top 2 teams was predicted in the preseason last fall. There's a nice lay-in attempt by DeClerc, number 7, the Team Alberta competitor. The rebound by Jasper Place. 5:40 to go here. Brinsky thought about the three. Now into the corner. And there's the pass broken up. It's number 4, Izzy Valerio. Good hustle play by the grade 10 guard. Jasper Place calls the timeout. You know, we want to mention, Steve, mention again that the Jenkins family, Tim Hortons of St. Albert and Morinville, are sponsoring tonight's Division I title game between the Rebels and the St. Albert Skyhawks. And, of course, keep in mind the Jenkins family, Tim Hortons, they have 5 locations, 4 in St. Albert, 2 on St. Albert Road, 1 on Hebert Road, 1 on Carnegie Drive, and, of course, right on 100th Street in Morinville. So make sure you check out any of the 5 locations, or check out all 5, whichever you want to do. The Jenkins family, Tim Hortons of St. Albert and Morinville, we want to thank, on behalf of ICU Video, we want to thank the Jenkins family for their sponsorship of basketball. And you know what? Anytime you get a chance to, put these young athletes on showcase, it's a great thing. So we want to thank all the support we get.
Well, the replays have been awesome.
Fantastic. We got a great crew.
We do, multiple angles, and the clarity is unreal. I was not getting this when I was in high school.
That's right. Well, that's true. We're certainly not this quality.
We're heating the gym and powering it. Some guys riding a bike outside.
The film, we had to fire up the film projector back then.
That's right, man.
That's right.
It was, the old wheel. Yeah.
You bet. Back to live action here.
Good pass.
Nice. Oh, and it just won't go. And the possession will go to St. Albert with a 25-point lead, 5:22 to go. Kevin Donnan for ICU Video along with Steve Sir here at the Thunderbird Gym at Ross Shepp. Ross Shepp, of course, hosting the city championships in basketball, and why not? They've got such an amazing facility. DeClerc got caught walking. Head coach John Diedrich asking DeClerc to kind of slow things down now with 5 minutes to go. You can use the clock with a 25-point lead, and there's a bit of a miscommunication there. There's the great hustle here by the Rebels. That's number 5, the rookie, Zerika Mensa, the grade 10.
Ooh,
check that grade 11 guard. Great hustle by the Rebels. And
it's the right idea. And there's been a lot of that for JP tonight. Just the right ideas, just maybe an inch or two off, and a little bit just not quite hitting the bullseye. But, I don't think the score is reflective of JP's a good team.
Absolutely.
They are. And I think if someone looked at this and didn't watch it, they'd say, oh, man, they got pounded. But they're a good team, and they're going to do all right at provincials. And they're going to be awfully good in the next couple of years as these girls get older. That's another thing to keep in mind. They're young.
Well, let's face it, Jasper Place, Harry Ainley, Ross Shepp, they are, the basketball factories in this city, and Lauren Green has got a lot to look forward to.
Nice.
Going into next year, and that 3 won't go. But, the Rebels have nothing to hang their heads about, and there's Kaylee Plouffe still working hard in the low post. She gets the rebound and converts. There's the three-pointer that won't go. There's a rebound by Stevenson, 7, and there's the hustle play by the Skyhawks. And as you mentioned, it's not truly indicative. Both of these teams, the score is a little lopsided, but I'll tell you, they're 2 very well-coached teams. Both teams really, 23 points, but you still have both of these teams just laying it all out on the line.
They're doing their best to do, to make a dent. JP's fighting back. St. Albert's trying to maintain it. But, I don't think anyone's going to walk away and say, you know what, one of the reasons that the outcome was the way it is because of a lack of effort. They both have played hard. St. Albert's just made more plays. They made more plays on both sides of the ball than JP. You see the pursuit of the ball for St. Albert tonight has been one of their biggest things, is they're getting multiple shots off of offensive rebounds.
A great battle for the ball down low between Harris and Nadeau. The Rebels will take possession, but as you mentioned, great ball movement by the Skyhawks. Just tremendous. That last sequence alone, as you mentioned, it's just hustle, hustle, hustle by, just the sign of a great, two really well-coached teams here. And John Diedrich will complete, barring a real
absolutely
miracle.
incredible comeback.
I mean, of probably, biblical proportions. John Diedrich is going to complete a perfect season. But, credit to Lauren Green and her team. Look at this, they're playing press, down 19 with 2 minutes to go. It's a great sign. And some great competitors on that Rebel team. Here's another great competitor, Taya DeMond. She hits the bucket from just inside the arc. And a 21-point lead here for the Skyhawks. If you want to talk tough, look at Brianna Thera back out on the floor. Took the elbow to the elbow across the bridge of the nose. And all she did was have the athletic staff take a look at it, and she's back out on the floor with 2 minutes to go in the championship game. So great spirit by the Rebels here, and the timeout called by the Skyhawks. Well, while we have this time, Steve, give us a bit of a preview of the men's final tonight.
Well, we're going to see the number one ranked team in the province for the Jasper Place Rebels, and we're going to see a team in Harry Ainley that won provincials last year. Now, it's not the exact same team, but you're talking about right now probably the two premier programs in the province. So it's similar to what we've said about the things tonight. You're going to see some really good players. You're going to see some guys that are on the JP side. You're going to see a kid named Ben Cricky, who's a national team player. He's represented Canada on 2 different occasions. He's got a really bright future ahead of him. And on the Harry Ainley side, you're going to see some really good players with Owen Weaver and the son of the coach George Hoyt, Josh Hoyt. You're going to see 2 really well-coached teams that play hard, that play the right way, and have a lot of guys that are going to play past high school. So as far as a matchup goes, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this all week. I can't wait to watch these guys play. And very similar to this game. There's high expectations for it, and they're probably going to live up to it.
It has all the makings of a classic, so don't move a muscle for our nightcap of our championship doubleheader here with ICU Video. Division I basketball championships here in Edmonton, and Thera can't get the 3 to go. Here's DeClerc, number 7, with the rebound. Got DeMong on the left. She'll find DeMong. DeMong kicks it over into the corner. Nice ball fake. Sige kicks it back out into the corner. DeMong thought about baseline, won't go. DeClerc now. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Skyhawks working the clock. Sige and a big foul. Sige drawing the foul and will shoot 2. As we take a look at that Tim Hortons replay, we want to do a shout out to the ICU Video crew, the best crew in cyberspace. Our cameraman Dave Foley, the rookie in the corner, Odell Nelson. Want to thank him for his hard work. Mark St. Arnaud, Alex Testowich, our switcher, and of course Rob Zitla, our executive producer. So that is our stellar crew. We get to work with them during the Totem Hoop Classic here at Ross Shep, and we have the honor and privilege to be here tonight doing the Division I City Championship games. Of course, the Jenkins family, Tim Hortons of St. Albert and Morinville, have brought this game to you, this Women's Division I Championships, and we certainly want to thank them for all of their support. And make sure you get to one of their 5 locations in St. Albert and Morinville. Final minute and 15 seconds here at the T-Bird Gym. And, of course, as we always say, Steve, during a little bit of a break, the basketball season is winding down, although we've got, March Madness coming up with the NCAA and the conference tournaments. But you know what? Get out and support local basketball, whether
Absolutely.
it's, our new professional entry. Get over to the U of A. Look at the high school schedule, Nate, McEwen, whatever. Basketball is one of the obviously it's the greatest sport in the world, one of the greatest sports in the world, but get out and support amateur basketball in Edmonton.
Absolutely.
Because we've got a great tradition here.
Well, as people we'll find out or already know, is there some players from Edmonton, currently former, that are doing some
Division
really,
I stuff,
absolutely, high-level stuff. And, it would be great, I think, from a support standpoint, to just get out and support it young. Before these guys move on to bigger things, it'd be awesome to come see where they started and support them while they're here, because whatever happens next, these are kids that grew up and developed in Edmonton, and I think there's a lot of people that take a lot of pride in that. So get out, watch, support, root them on, and then follow them as they continue on their basketball journey. It's a really, really special thing.
Well, and I mean, it started in our city with the Edmonton grads, and it just went from there. And we've got tremendous high school basketball, great coaches, great support at all levels. Get out and support amateur basketball as we draw the curtain here, the final curtain on the 2018-19 Women's Division I season. And the St. Albert Skyhawks have won the Women's Metro Edmonton High School Athletic Association Division I Basketball Championship. And we want to congratulate head coach John Diedrich, associate coaches Ashley Wigg and Paige Null, and everyone at St. Albert with the Skyhawks. We want to congratulate them on a tremendous season, a perfect season, a perfect 11-0, and they come away with a big victory here in the city championship. And it has been a tremendous season for St. Albert. And you know what, let's give a lot of credit to JP as well.
Yeah.
For they finished the season, really, when you think about it, 9-2. Or I mean, the only two losses they suffered were against St. Albert. So that's you know what, you have to say that the Rebels have a lot to be proud of as well.
Absolutely. There's a reason that they're here. They've won some games. They've competed tough, and they still have things to play for. They have provincials that they're in, and that's going to be big. There's not any reason for them to come into this and think I didn't play hard, I didn't deserve to be here. What happened really is they ran into a St. Albert team that's awfully good. So I think going forward, it's important for JP to look at this and maybe retool a little bit and say we're going to refocus and we're going to get ready to go and be ready for the provincials. And if you're St. Albert, then this is an awfully special accomplishment where you have had an undefeated season. You won the city championship, and I got to imagine if they're on the same wavelength, that they're going to be looking at the provincials and saying this is something that we're going to want to go and we're going to win.
Going to do some awards here. Of course, we'll do the trophy presentations. It's been a fabulous night here. The Skyhawks come away with a big victory here at the T-Bird Gym. They win the title over the Jasper Place Rebels. And, of course, don't move a muscle. In about 20-ish minutes, we're going to have the men's final, the JP Rebels, taking on the Harry Ainley Titans, and there is a buzz in the gym waiting for that one. Both teams are, again, here we go with one team seeking a perfect season and the other one with only one loss to the other team in the championship game. So this is exactly the way, if you wanted to script a basketball season and get the top four teams, this is the result you'd get. You'd have St. Albert and JP here in the women's division, and then of course Harry Ainley taking on JP in just a few moments' time. So the Rebels here getting their silver medals for a second place finish in Division I in the Metro Edmonton High School Athletic Association Championships. And in just a few minutes, we'll talk to the player of the game for St. Albert, and we'll have a chance to talk to head coach John Diedrich. Steve, you'll get a chance to talk to John, and I'm sure he may not be able to capture it all tonight, but when he looks back at this season, it's going to be a pretty special one to remember.
Absolutely, and I know on both sides of this, They're going to be proud. They're going to be very proud of their kids. And then they're also going to have their eyes on what comes next. I mean, that's going to be a big part of both for these teams. Is now you got to retool and refocus and say, hey, we set out and accomplished what we wanted to accomplish if you're St. Albert. And then you got to think, all right, now it's time to get focused for provincials. It's time to get ready to try and win the big one in our province. So I think for both teams, they have exciting things coming up, and that's what after they get with, I won the city championship or I lost city championship. Okay, but we have more things we need to play for now.
And of course, provincials coming up. We'll get the dates for you on that. Steve will get the dates for the provincials and maybe get some details for you coming up. And right now, the trophy presentation and the gold medal presentation to the Skyhawks. Great night for Taya DeMong. She got into foul trouble early in the third quarter, but was such a difference maker in the first half. A physical presence down low in terms of the paint. And Taya DeMong hit a couple of big threes in that first half.
Taya's got a bright future with basketball. She's got great size. She's very versatile. She can handle it well. She shoots it. She's smart. She's going to be an awfully good player and continue to improve and grow as a player in the coming years. But I was very impressed with her and Cameron DeClercq, especially with how they dictated and helped maintain a tempo for the St. Albert team. You never saw anybody hang their head if they made a mistake. You never saw anybody get on them if things didn't go the way that they wanted. They just kept playing clearly how they prepared to play. So a credit to the players and a big credit to the coaches of having that culture be such a representation of their team.
And I think another player for the Skyhawks who really had a tremendous night was Morgan Harris. She hit that. She hit that three down here in the far corner, and that was a game changer, really. I mean, the Rebels had built up a little bit of momentum, but that was, midway through the second quarter. She drew the foul, and here is the banner presentation to the St. Albert Skyhawks, the 2019 Edmonton High School champions, the Division I champions in the women's division, and congratulations to John Diedrich and the entire Skyhawks team and staff, and what a performance tonight, and way to close out perfection, Steve.
I mean, that's what everyone at the beginning of the season always says to do. Guys, girls, let's run the table. We're good enough to run the table.
That's right.
So I think for the St. Albert girls, that's a big accomplishment. It's hard at any level to go undefeated. So for them to do that, that's big time. And especially now heading into provincials, you got to figure they're going to say, hey, guys, we got to win everything from now on, too. So the only way we're going to get what we want is to stay undefeated the whole year.
Sounds great. And, of course, we want to thank the Jenkins family, Tim Hortons of St. Albert and Morinville, one more time for their sponsorship of tonight's Division I title game. And that brings our ICU Video Procast coverage of the 2019 Metro Edmonton Women's High School Basketball City Championship game, with the St. Albert Skyhawks capturing the Division I title with a 69-49 victory over the Jasper Place Rebels. Coming up next, we will have the men's Division I championship game, which has all the makings of a classic as the Jasper Place Rebels battle the Harry Ainley Titans. On behalf of my colleague Steve Sir and our entire crew, we will go down. Before we close up shop completely, we're going to go down to Rob Zitlaw, who's got the mic. He's going to talk to. We have Morgan Harris, the player of the game. And Morgan, can you hear me? Oh, we're going to get Morgan right into camera range. She's here with John Diedrich, and Morgan, can you hear us? We're right here. So, you're on with Kevin Donnan and Steve Sir of ICU Video Morgan. First of all, congratulations. How does it feel to run the table and a perfect season?
It feels so awesome. It was so much fun to play with everyone and to get on the court and play.
Now you made a 4-point play down here in the corner. Walk us through that play. How big of a play was that for your team? And I mean, to stand in there, I mean, when you know the player's coming, that was a big, big play.
It just got our momentum going. We all got excited and we all wanted to play even more, and it made us play better as a team.
Morgan, talk about your mentality with the team coming into tonight's game. You guys had beat JP a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But clearly you guys, you know each other well, and you know that JP's a tough opponent. What was your focus for tonight's game?
Even though we beat them, we had to go in strong, knowing that there was the possibility of us losing, and we wanted to go hard the whole time.
Well, there'll be a little bit of celebrating tonight in St. Albert. We'll let you get back with your teammates. Morgan, congratulations to the entire team, and we'll get you to hand things off to your coach, John Diedrich. So congratulations to your entire team, and we'll hand things off to John Diedrich, who will get the headphones on. John Diedrich, Kevin Donnan, and Steve Sir for ICU Video. First of all, congratulations on a perfect season.
Thank you very much.
Well, walk us through this. I mean, that first quarter, JP kind of came away with the lead. What was the thinking? Was it just a matter of just getting your team to settle in?
Well, I think nerves played a big part. And like when I was in the timeouts, I tried to tell the girls to just simply don't go outside their character. Like just play how you can play and that you've done all year to get to this point. So I said, just don't go out of character. And I think eventually they settled down and started to hit shots and that sort of stuff. So it was just a little composure.
So, Coach, what you guys have coming next is provincials. What do you guys go to now with such a convincing win in cities? What are you telling the girls on how to refocus and how to get ready for the next big thing?
Well, I think, as you know, Steve, you set certain goals out, and then you kind of have a checklist, and you don't look past the first goal, and then once you achieve that, hopefully, then you knock that off, and that's kind of our mentality that we have right now. So our goal was to get to city finals, Tier 1 city finals, and then obviously hopefully win, and then we'll see. Obviously, we'll wait to see where we're seated, who our opponents are. We'll have a week of tough practice, where it's it's reset time. Like it's 0-0. Any of the top 6 or 7, even the top 10 teams can certainly beat each other. And we've had a close game with Cardston, who was up against us at halftime in Calgary. So any team in the top 10 is certainly capable.
Well, we want to congratulate you once again.
Absolutely.
I imagine you can't wait to get with your team and to celebrate tonight in St. Albert. So congratulations to the Skyhawks on a Division I title and a perfect season.
Perfect.
So
Thank you.
And that brings our ICU Video
guys.
broadcast coverage of the 2019 Metro Edmonton Women's High School Basketball City Championship game. Of course, the St. Albert Skyhawks capturing the title with a 69-49 win over the Jasper Place Rebels. Of course, coming up next, we'll have the Men's Division I Championship game. Don't move a muscle. JP against Harry Ainley. Have a wonderful evening. We want to thank you for joining us on this Jenkins Family Tim Hortons of St. Albert and Morinville Edmonton Women's Division I Basketball Championship game. I'm Kevin Donnan for ICU Video. Good night from the Sheppard Gymnasium in Edmonton.